Hello, everyone, and welcome back again to This Week in Guns, brought to you by Patriot Patch Company and Primary Arms. This show offers commentary on all of the latest firearms industry news, firearms information, and firearms buzz. I'm your host, Matthew Larosiere, and I'm here with my co-host once again, Shawn Herrin.
What's up?
Going on?
Not much. Just, we talk about weather all the time. And yes, there's a blizzard outside right now. I don't know what to do. I didn't want to talk about weather, but here we are.
Well, in your honor, I've got a Canadian Pills. So
beautiful.
You've got a...
I'm just going to drink whiskey out of the bottle.
Yeah, keep your blood flowing.
Exactly.
That should do it.
Yeah, I heard that's great when you don't want to freeze to death is just get hammered and lay in the snow.
Yeah, I heard that too. So yeah, tell all your friends. That's how you stave off whatever it is.
It absolutely is.
Hypothermia.
But other than that, everything's fantastic.
Dope. Very dope. You know what else is fantastic? I heard that there is a sale.
A sale? Where?
Mm-hmm.
Of what?
Oh, they got concealed carry gear and other various items that are related to carrying a firearm, which is something we all love to do.
And that's at Primary Arms?
You know what? That's where I heard it was, but I'm glad you were able to double check and confirm.
Perfect.
So yeah, look at all these garments.
Yeah.
You know what? I've always wanted one of those. They got those special jeans that are carry jeans or carry slacks, whatever. That yeah, those are the ones I want to wear.
Yeah, these are the Alexo Athletica. They actually have these in stock, and
yeah,
I think that you would look great in these. Honestly,
I think I would too. But yeah, there's also like they've got there's those pants that like have a mag pocket and stuff like that. All kinds of really cool stuff that you wouldn't think about. But honestly, you know, if you're big into the arms hobby, like I am, you don't realize how much quality of life improvement you can get by getting tailored, pants specifically for what you're doing. Like, I'm into motorcycles too, and there's special motorcycle jeans, and you're thinking, what the heck does that mean? And then you actually get them, and you're like, oh wow, these are awesome. So I don't know. I'd recommend checking out those pants given the sale.
Yeah, totally, 100% agree.
Mm-hmm.
Again, that is concealed carry gear. It's at Primary Arms, and you can find them at frn.deals/PA.
Yep, check them out. Get yourself some pants.
Exactly, and get those stretch pants and send Matt pictures, not me.
Yeah, get those. But yeah, and especially, I know a lot of you guys have probably started ripping seams out of your pants, given the pandemic weight. So it's probably a good time to get a new set, no matter how you slice it.
Yeah, me being obese is it's all because of the pandemic. I definitely was not fat before the pandemic.
Right.
Thanks.
I've gained like probably 15 pounds. It's been crazy.
It really has. It really has.
Well, anyway,
now let's get
it else. Yeah, you know what else is crazy?
Tell me.
That they got this pistol.
Okay.
And the bullets that come out of it are bad. They got the bad ones.
Oh, yeah. I've heard of those.
Yeah. It's the FN57.
Oh, wait, what?
Yeah. They said that it's it's one of them cop killer guns.
I don't understand.
Well, and we've heard about this before, like when the 5.7 first came out, you always get these total foam heads that are, anything that even remotely claims to be effective against armor, it's a cop killer. Whereas those of us who have two brain cells to rub together know that actually surplus 7.62 Tokarev is probably better at armor defeating than most of the 5.7 you can get. However, the authorities have apparently again gotten all scared of the 5.7 because there was a shooting in California where two people died who were not police officers and were also not wearing armor.
Okay.
So we need to be concerned about this super cop killer armor piercing gun.
Oh, well, thanks a lot, Ruger.
Well, no, this is actually the OG that they're concerned about, the 5.7.
Yeah.
And you see like the quotes from, they're just so vapid and dumb. When you get this type of a firearm, it really raises everybody's antenna of concern and fear. And that's from the San Mateo County District Attorney Steve Wagstaffe, talking about the FN57 pistol, which can fire both conventional and illegal armor-piercing 5.7 millimeter rounds.
Wow. What's a legal 5.7?
No, you can have the regular old armor-piercing ones and the illegal ones.
Conventional. You know what? I just don't understand. I guess I just don't have two brain cells to rub together because
Yeah, it's stupid. And like the main thing here is no, they're saying this high powered weapon, whereas those of us who've shot it know it's a 22 Win Mag that had its coffee in the morning. Really, that's how it feels to shoot, isn't it?
Yeah. It's like a spicy 9 basically.
Yeah. I'd call it spicy 22 mag because it's like 22 mag if it actually kicked.
Yeah. I don't.
But I mean, and I shot the Ruger 5.7 and like I was shooting steel with it, and I kept thinking I was missing because it's so light it didn't even make a noise when it hit the steel. Like that's not exactly what I call high power, but whatever. Yeah, they're all freaked out, and they're saying this has been linked to 12 shootings.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And they appear to be gang related shootings from the article that I was reading. But okay, yeah, no, that makes sense.
Well, and so like whenever you get something like this, they always immediately assume that there's something particularly criminal or killy about the weapon, when in reality, I'm aware the reason gang members and certain types of individuals pick the 5.7 is because there's a certain aesthetic to it that they really appreciate. It's kind of like the whole Stendo thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, the gun, it holds 20 rounds right out the box. For some reason, there's this appreciated aesthetic about that. They like it because of the way that it looks, because of its affiliation with video games, and because you can put an extended mag and then it looks really funny and it holds a whole bunch of rounds. And it's just like this weird, it's this weird like gang orthodoxy about extended mags. But like, then the result, so like, people in gangs are going to pick a weapon because it has certain characteristics they like. And then they wind up using the weapon. Does that suddenly mean it's killier? And like, I don't know. It's such backwards logic. They're not looking at it saying, is there something particularly about this weapon that makes it a problem, or is it just the fact that we found it? Right.
Yeah. So like local rapper gets shot with 5.7 and suddenly the cops are worried about these cop killer bullets. Also, his sister's name is Strangenay, which I've never heard that name before.
It's a strange name.
It is. It's strange name minus the M. So
yeah.
Oh, that's actually very clever. Okay, well done, Tayway and Strangenay's parents.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, I feel bad for them. Obviously, it's a horrible shooting. I just don't understand why we're talking about the pistol.
Yeah, murder's terrible. Go arrest the murderers, solve the crime, and why don't we just forget about it? Like
that would be hard.
Car, yeah, they could have hit him with a car. They could have stabbed him. They could have done a lot of things. Like stop focusing on the method of the murder and worry about solving the actual murder.
Especially something so lame as like a 5. I mean, come on, get with the times.
Yeah,
we're not about that anymore.
I mean, it's just I really don't understand this logic jump that it's like, oh my God, he died of heart disease. Like, let's outlaw Toyotas.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like.
It is so weird.
Yeah. Anyway, that's stupid. F you, San, whatever you are.
Fran, NBC
San
area.
Yeah, Bay Area. What? Oh, San Mateo.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Get bent, San Mateo County District Attorney's Office.
Yeah.
That's what I have to say about this.
That's what I have to say about it, too.
All right. Next up, we've got. We're going to talk about. I'm just going to tell you guys that keep emailing me and Shawn. I'm going to talk about qualified immunity again, and you can't stop me because I'm right.
Oh snap! Gauntlet laid.
Look, yeah, and there's been a few times we've talked about qualified immunity. It's in the news, and it's really related to guns because mainly because of this case, Caniglia v. Strom. And we've gotten emails. I won't say who from. We've gotten a lot of them. So if it was you who sent the email, it's not yours I'm talking about. I'm talking about someone else's.
The other guys.
That keep saying you guys are wrong about qualified immunity, and then like give the exact same definition that we gave, only except the only difference is they think it's a good idea.
Well, they're coming from a law enforcement background.
Right. Yeah. And, having 30 years on the force or whatever obviously makes you an expert in constitutional law and and the development of judicially crafted theories like qualified immunity, which is not anywhere in statute. It just materialized one day. It went, poof, and there it was. But so in this qualified immunity discussion, so qualified immunity stands for the proposition, for those of you who haven't seen like the last 3 episodes where we talked about it, where if an officer is performing a discretionary function of their duties and they didn't do something that is clearly established as being illegal, right, or unconstitutional or whatever, they can't be sued for it. But the definition of clearly established as it's developed is not like, oh, well, obviously you can't just break into people's houses. It has come to mean, was there a previous case that we can find a record of where they sued under it and they found that QI didn't apply, or that, you know, it was not acceptable, and then the next case gets to go forward. So it's totally busted. In all that, Biden's Solicitor General just filed an amicus brief in that case of Caniglia v. Strom, which involves police officers who were doing a wellness check on somebody, told him, hey, you know, we think that you should go check yourself into the hospital. And he goes, all right, I'm going to do it. And then they just go ahead and go into his house and steal all his guns. And he sued them, saying, you know, this is an obvious Fourth Amendment violation. You can't just do that, especially, you know, when I was going to do what you asked to do anyway, right? And they didn't hold it up on qualified immunity. They held it up under this other theory. It's kind of complicated. But so now Biden's SG is coming in arguing that, no, they should be able to go into anyone's house they want and seize guns. And if you don't, you know, think it's okay under that community caretaker exception that the lower court did, you need to find that it was okay under qualified immunity.
Interesting. So when you say the amicus, this is the amicus curiae, is that what it is?
Yeah, amicus curiae. It's Latin for friend of the court.
Yeah. So basically, what does that even mean? Like, what friend of the court? They do this, but there's really no legal bearing. It's just like, hey, I'm an expert in this thing, and this is my opinion on this thing.
Yeah, and so I've written dozens of amicus briefs before the Supreme Court, and it's really helpful because the litigants, actually the people who are fighting the suit, right, the plaintiff and the defendant, they're limited in what they can say. They have certain word limitations and stuff like that. So they can't always get so deep into all of the different matters. So that's where amicus briefs get to come in and really dive in on one area and basically do all the court's research for it and say, hey, we think that in this area, you should decide this way because X, Y, and Z, right? Because of all these things, here's all the reasons, here's why it applies here. And that way, like, you know, and you can go in on both sides. So like, obviously here, Biden's SG went in favor of the police officers, whereas, you know, I could have filed a brief in favor of the plaintiff, and you know, and say this is the reason the plaintiff should win. So it really is a help because it helps the court see all the arguments and see all of the support from everyone who's affected, you know, not just the litigants who are limited by, you know, page count.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. Is this an abuse of position by the Solicitor General?
It's odd.
Yeah, because
like
it feels weird, right?
Yeah, especially like the way, you know, this particular political party, you know, they're not exactly seen as being terribly pro-cop. So it's so weird to me that they would come in and be like, and it's like they hate guns so much that they're going to argue for an expansion of QI, where the court didn't even talk about it. Like the court didn't even, it wasn't even a thing before, right? They're going to come in. Well, I mean, I'm sure it was brought up, but they're going to come in and make the argument to expand qualified immunity, just because they hate guns that deeply and passionately. I don't think it. So I think anyone should be able to file an amicus brief. I don't think it's like an abusive position or whatever. I think it's a extremely odd, sideways, backwards position for the government to take, though.
It's like the Always Sunny in Philadelphia meme of Mac, where he's like, I play both sides, so I always come out on top. That's exactly what this reminds me of.
It's exactly what this is. So yeah, it's weird. Y'all should check this one out. It's just very fascinating. But remember also that this push from the Biden administration is coming amidst. So now there's 3 states that are working to restrict the incredibly abusive doctrine of qualified immunity. We've already had your state, Colorado, specifically enable lawsuits against police officers who behave in extremely irrational ways. Connecticut, and most recently New Mexico, is putting forth legislation to basically make it easier to sue police officers who violate your rights. It just seems like, and those aren't right. Colorado and Connecticut are not like very red states. So yeah, it's just kind of interesting for Biden administration to come in here and kind of like kick the dominoes over and be like, no,
yeah,
we love qualified immunity here. Put it here.
It is weird. Some of this stuff gets so murky. Like I will be 100% honest that I don't 100% understand qualified immunity. Like, I think I understand like the basics, like a kind of broad overview, but like the specifics truly confuse me as to like when you talk about clearly established and kind of what that means and what it doesn't mean.
Yeah.
And I think, is it done that way on purpose? Because it is very murky, is it not?
You have to remember the whole thing's an accident.
Right. That
the Supreme Court just invented it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so like when they invented it, they may have intended for clearly established to mean like, I don't know, you can't like stop people from speaking, like making political speech or something like that. I don't know. They could have intended for it to mean something much broader. When they wrote that decision, that is the genesis of the whole existence of qualified immunity. Or, you know, I don't know. See, that's the problem. Is this is, it's not law. There's no statute. There's no federal statute that says, hey, you know, you can't sue cops when, you know, except for these reasons. They just kind of like made it up. So that's why it's so. Yeah, the Supreme Court makes it up, and then the lower courts are like, all right, well, this exists now. I guess I have to interpret it and kind of like apply it. And so through all of that spaghetti, something came out. And what came out is the only way to clearly establish something is to win in court. And then the incentives are weird because if you win the first time, you still don't win. Right?
Yeah.
Because if you're the first one, so like let's say you're the first person after QI to have your child set on fire, right?
Yeah.
And then you win. And they're like, all right, yeah, no, this is not acceptable to set children on fire. Right? Not being egregious, of course, but it wasn't clearly established. So sorry, you can't do it. But it is now. So then they set another kid on fire, right? And it's like, oh, well, you know, because they already did this and it's clearly established now. Not that like police officers are sitting there reading every case involving qualified immunity to figure out what is or is not covered.
Right.
It's ludicrous. It's completely ludicrous. And it serves no purpose.
It's the right that they allegedly violated that needs to be clearly established, right?
No. It needs to be clearly established unlawful conduct. So like that's the weird thing. And so it's like it is involving rights, but it's not just involving rights. It's whether the behavior, it was clearly established that the behavior was unlawful or extra legal is the better way to put it.
Weird.
Yeah. So then that's why, and you know, Clark, if you guys want to read from somebody who's a real qualified immunity expert, look up Clark Neely. He's at the Cato Institute. He spends all kinds of time writing about this. He, you know, any of his writings will give you a great understanding of what it is. But, you know, I've talked to him personally many times about this. And what he tells me is the way things have shaped out, it just incentivizes you to behave in a particularly insane way. Because as long as you can distinguish your behavior from previous case law, you know, your situation is going to be okay. And it's just like, it's something, if we're going to have, so yeah, I understand the purpose of the doctrine, right? That if you're doing a discretionary function and you're not violating someone's rights and something bad happens, you shouldn't be amenable to a huge lawsuit. I can understand that.
Mm-hmm.
But if we're going to have that type of rule, I think we need to actually pass a law that has listed what the factors are and what has to be, what boxes you have to check before you can get the immunity. not like this magic dice roll that, the way it is right now.
Yeah, very interesting, man. This is really interesting stuff. Like, it really is.
I think that
because it's just so complicated, and like that it has such far-reaching repercussions depending on which way this case goes.
It does, and it's a huge problem, and especially those of you in the gun field. This is a case involving somebody who basically the cops just busted in with no real reason to, right? Under the circumstances, so like it's a very interesting facts pattern. But at that point, right, he was going to go to the hospital or whatever, and then they just go and just take all his guns. If even no matter how you feel about underlying issues or whatever, you should want to be able to feel like if a police officer or a bunch of them decide that they're going to violate your rights, you should feel like you can do something right about it, that you could sue or there's something you could do to be made whole again. So don't just get mad at me and tell me, because I don't understand because I didn't, patrol a beat for 29 years or whatever. Think about how this would apply to you. And whatever. I'll still read your email. I'm sure we'll get a couple more.
Yeah, we definitely will. I read them and I'm like trying to apply it to what I know. But
I think we just disagree. And I can understand like how you would think this is a good idea. But it's probably because, but then, I mean, they should understand that, I've seen human beings that are completely maimed, mangled, and will never be able to like speak again, are blind because of ridiculous actions of police officers who were enforcing nonviolent, giving force to like a nonviolent, a warrant based on nonviolent conduct. So you should kind of know how I feel about it. I've seen people who are pretty messed up and can't sue anyone because they're like, oh, well, it's not clearly established that you're not supposed to set people on fire like that.
Interesting. And I think it's good to have the conversation. Maybe we read a couple of those emails in one of the future episodes.
Yeah.
I think that would be interesting. And then talk
I mean, hell, we could even invite one of them on.
Sure. I'm down.
Yeah.
I'm down.
All right. So now let's talk about a ceasefire.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah. San Diego.
I'm in.
What's the best way to stop gun violence?
Everyone carries guns and then people get nervous to be stupid.
No, the best look. You have to look a little further back. Go further back into history, right? When you'd be having like imagine it's like 1700.
Okay.
And there's a huge battle, You got gun violence everywhere.
Yeah.
How do you make that stop?
Stop battling.
No, you get to the other general and you sit down, you have tea, and you negotiate a ceasefire.
Okay, that's fair.
It's the best way to do it.
Yeah.
It's proven.
Or in the Patriot, you just kill all of their officers and then...
Also, yes.
Yeah.
But so, San Diego, they are, despite their incredible gun control, they're one of many cities in California that has experienced an increase in violent crime. Shootings are up 30% in 2020. On Wednesday, these brilliant city officials announced a plan to reduce gun-related violence, and it's called No Shots Fired.
Okay.
It's a 6-month ceasefire for San Diego gangs, attempting to broker a peace deal between the warring gangs on the city streets.
Did the gangs agree to this, or just the bureaucrats? They just sat down and they're like, you know what? We're going to do this thing. It's called No Shots Fired.
Yeah, it sounds great. I mean, what do you mean? Like, you don't need to listen, it's the government. They don't need to get other people's like permission or anything to do stuff. They're just going to do it.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So they didn't get the gangs involved. They just said, we're going to.
No, they'll come.
Got this guy, not sure. If anyone knows Idiocracy, they know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. I love that movie.
It's literally one of the most accurate documentaries of my lifetime.
Yeah. It was an unwitting documentary of the future.
Yeah, it was a pre-documentary.
Yeah. But yeah, I think this is a great idea because look, they're going to send the generals out and look, if you were a general in a San Diego street gang, you would know from your training, right? You went to cotillion. You're going to put your white gloves on, you're going to sit down and you're going to put out your terms and it's going to go good.
I don't understand what the actual plan is. And I've read the article.
They're going to do a ceasefire.
They're going to work to provide outreach and resources to known gang members in the target communities, offer them an opportunity to exit the gang culture and life. And they're going to do community walks, street side memorials, faith-sponsored peace meals and organized outreach, ceasefire agreements with gang leaders, wraparound services in person, virtual meetings with gang members to discuss seasons of peace and coordination with law enforcement. So it's not even, it's like you could kill your adversary, but you can't do it today. You can only do it during the seasons of violence. This right now is a season of peace, and this is just not going to work for us because it doesn't look good on the news. But I'll tell you what, come June when it's real hot outside and people are at the beach and stuff, not paying attention to the news, yes, go ahead and do whatever crime.
Ceasefire's over.
Yeah, ceasefire's over. When I was a kid, I had basically a stepbrother. So second stepdad. I had a son. He would come out and spend summers, and we were both like similar age and actually close today. But at the time, as teenagers, we fought a lot. Like we argued a lot. We fought a lot. And, we were just both like trying to make our place in the world. And one time we came up with this idea that we would call a ceasefire. And we called it Operation Boxing Glove. And the plan was that anytime, because like our parents were sick of it and we were getting in trouble and we just wanted to hang out and have some fun. So anytime one of us would start getting mad and start, being aggressive towards the other one just had to say the magic words, Operation Boxing Glove. And then that would snap both of us out of it. And we would immediately go back and forget whatever we were mad about and just go back to this season of peace. Now, how long do you think that this lasted?
One, go.
Yep.
It worked once, right?
It worked once.
Yeah.
Literally like an hour later, it all fell apart again. And it was a very valuable lesson and just an important life moment for me to realize how ridiculous that actually is, because it doesn't actually address any of the underlying problems that we were having and being aggressive towards each other. All it was some made up magic word that actually didn't do anything to resolve those things.
Right.
And of course it didn't work. And this is Operation Boxing Gloves, San Diego style.
That's hilarious.
It's so dumb. Like will it work? No. What if it does?
I also love that, we're obviously pointing out the difficulties in getting in touch with gang leaders and getting them to, because these are not really as centrally planned as some people might believe, right? So they just say we're going to negotiate ceasefires with the gang leaders,
and the gang leaders are like, "Oh hell no, you're not."
It was like, how? You have their cell phone number? You're just gonna be like, hey, can you come sit at the table tomorrow? And they'll be like, yeah, state, I'll come sit at your table tomorrow.
Right. Like for what benefit? Like what did they get out of this? No, nothing.
Oh yeah, gang leader. Oh yes, you're contacting me as a gang leader, which is totally illegal of a thing to be. Yeah, I'll come chill. Do you have punch?
Yeah.
No.
Grape flavor aid. Because that might work. Actually, I go down Jonestown style.
Yeah, that's, oh my god, it's so it's just it's they think it's not a joke. That's the thing. That's that's the joke. The joke is it's not a joke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, what is the answer? I hate to be the guy who craps on the solution without actually providing an answer, but the answer is
the drug war.
Yeah, in the drug war, absolutely.
What'll happen? It's the same thing. It's we have the NFA because the mob was out of control, because guess what? They had a monopoly on alcohol.
Yeah.
So if we take away the gang monopoly on drugs, and you can just buy quality, safe drugs at
Walgreens,
the drugstore. Yeah. Guess what? No one's going to be pumping money into these criminal organizations. They're going to have to figure out something else to do. And I don't know, I've talked to some people who think that they would continue to be violent, but most people who are, scholars in this area that I've discussed to agree that if you end the drug war, just immediately the violence goes down by 70%.
Yeah. I've read some stuff that says exactly that as well. Also, I will be perfectly honest that legalizing drugs, I don't think will do a whole lot of good. And here's why. I think that all drugs should be legal, not just marijuana. Like I think
Mhm.
everything should be legal. You want to do it, go ahead and do it. Like do whatever you want. It's your life. You live it however you want. That's how libertarian I am. Or
Mhm.
I wouldn't say I'm libertarian, but that's how freedom oriented I am.
It's
But
not a dirty word. You can be libertarian. You're allowed.
I'm not really like
You're allowed though.
I identify with a lot of libertarian policies, tendencies, and beliefs, but I can't get behind a lot of the politicians that call themselves
Right. Well, yeah. Well, that's why you have to divorce yourself. Like you divorce libertarianism
That's
from
right.
the Libertarian Party, which, like, you know, one of like, and you know, I'm a career libertarian with a small L, and I think you are too.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like it's weird because the political party causes people to be like, no, I'm not. You know, that's not me. But it's like it's a good ideology. You know?
Yeah. So you legalize all these things,
Right.
but then there's so much bureaucracy thrown into it.
Mm-hmm.
Because here in Colorado, we have legal marijuana. Like we can't buy it as citizens inside of the city limits of Colorado Springs.
Mm-hmm.
If you go to Manitou Springs, which is 20 minutes from where I'm sitting right now, or like Pueblo, which is legalized, that you could totally buy retail. Now, even in Colorado Springs, you can have the medical marijuana cards and things and go buy it from an apothecary or whatever they call them. But at the same time, there's so much just bureaucracy involved in it, and the process sucks. And because you can only do it in a few certain places, there's long lines, and people everyone I know that partook of marijuana before it was legalized still buys it from their dealers.
Yeah.
Like they're like, oh yeah, I could go down there and wait an hour in line, or I could just text this dude and he drops it off in the mailbox.
Well, that's why when you legalize it, you have to like legalize it.
Yeah.
You have to like properly, like, I always tell people, they're like, well, what would you want to see? And I'm like, I want to see, like, I want to go into Walmart or wherever, and I want to see behind the counter, like, you know how a Kraft block of cheese comes in a thing with their name on it?
Yeah.
I want to see cocaine like that with a big brand name on it.
Yeah.
Right? That's how I'll know that it worked, because people are making the product and they're putting their name on it. That means that they've made it clean and safe. Well, as safe as they can, right? Like, and I'm one of those people, you do it if you want. You're not going to catch me, chowing down a whole block of Kraft Coke, but like, that's where it needs to be. It needs to be the point where people have their brand right on it and you can just go and buy it for money.
Yeah.
Because guess what? You know what else is a horribly addicting chemical that is out there that kills people every year? Alcohol, right? But less people die from poisoning of it now, because guess what? It's out in the open. Everyone's doing it, putting their brand name. Yeah, there's a brand name on that because a company is affiliated with and proud of that product, and so they're actually going to take the care to do it. During Prohibition, bathtub gin could kill you,
Right.
Yeah, so that's my conception of things, is if we just unplug it. It's like, look, drugs have been winning the war on drugs for 40 years.
Yeah, they have really made the market of drugs like an amazing place to do business.
Yeah, we need to just pull out of the drug war, just pull all the troops out. And then guess what? All their troops, the gang members and stuff, what are they going to do? Steal cars? Not much money in that anymore.
They're going to figure out something else to do.
Right, yeah, but there's not much money in because that's what people always say, oh, well, they'll go back to stealing cars. That market has changed, right? Everything, like the way, it's really hard to part stuff out now without getting caught.
Yeah.
Because all the expensive components can, it's hard to clean the VIN off of them. So
they'll just have to sell their drugs for less than the government sells their drugs. I mean,
or maybe that now what they're doing wouldn't be a felony. They could actually just go live out in the world doing normal things.
Oh yeah, they could actually take their operation and actually make it a legal, legitimate business. Yeah, there you go.
They could actually, do it, rent a place, have air filtration, whatever, get it done right, and be able to put their brand on it and grow a brand.
It's weird. Like I always thought once they legalize it, maybe I'll like try it or something. But then I started like getting into the guns and doing gun things and got my FFL. So now I can't do anything. Yeah. Like living on.
Well, that's the other thing, is that like generally like legalizing doesn't, and I've seen the comments of people telling me to stop saying like I'm working on it. Legalizing doesn't increase the user base really. And in fact, we've seen some data that it decreases it. So
I would say a correlation there is just because the state goes to constitutional carry doesn't mean that people aren't going to actually take training. In
Right.
fact, a lot of the anecdotal stories that I've heard in places that do constitutional carry, people seek more training.
Yeah.
Which the law of unintended consequences that somehow works out. But yeah, I think the ceasefire is stupid.
Yeah, it's stupid.
Yeah, it is.
And the drug war.
Absolutely.
So next up, some cool 3D printed stuff that isn't done by Pew. It's done by a big company.
What?
It's amicus, which is the name in biathlon shooting. But you know, you've seen all these like in the Olympics and whatever, these fancy 22s. Well, this is their new biathlon rifle, and it features a super customizable 3D printed chassis. Yeah. So I think that this gun is really dope. If I could justify an insane amount of money on a 22, I would totally get one, because you open this by flicking up your trigger finger and then hitting forward your thumb. Like, that's the straight pull action on these.
Yeah, I've seen these. Yeah.
But yeah, this is a great, and I've always said this is a great use of 3D printing, because with these crazy shapes that would be really hard to like machine or get a mold made or whatever, you can do that and then also have it be infinitely customizable for the hand of, every single one of the shooters.
So I wondered, have they lowered their prices? Because I know that their rifles are generally very expensive.
Yes. I don't figure that they would have.
Yeah. I agree with you. It is interesting looking.
Mm-hmm. It comes in different colors.
Yeah.
The funny thing is like when you see 3D printed gun thing right now,
yeah,
we're trained to believe that like, oh, we're just going to buy the gun and then we're going to print our own chassis. No, they're actually selling the printed chassis. So they kind of like skip the step.
That's cool. Yeah, just send over those plans, dog.
Yeah, give us the files.
Let me glue it together. Print it in my Ender 3.
Yeah, you might have to do a couple steps, but hey.
Yeah. Hey, I'm in. I would like this.
Yeah, yes, I like it. I think it's really, really cool looking.
I do too. I would totally buy this.
I love shooting 22 target rifles. They really make you feel like a good shot.
It's cheat code, basically.
Yeah. Like the way those, and any of you guys who haven't shot one of these, the way those diopter, I think they're called, sights work, like the way they focus all of the light through that little tiny rear reticle, it's basically a scope. It's iron sights, but like it's so carefully made and spaced and everything that like basically if you put the front sight on what you want to hit, you're hitting it. They're such a dream to shoot. I've got an old U.S. military Stevens target rifle, and like I was hanging out with Othias, and he put one of those little exploding clay targets that was like this big, like an inch and a half around, and it was 80 yards away. And I was thinking, I'm not that good of a shot to, hit that, he was recording. And I put those sights up and ping, just went off.
Wow.
Yeah. Those guns are cheating. You guys, everybody should try one just to, if you don't feel like you're a good shot, just shoot one of those and then you'll feel good for a couple days till you go back to a regular gun.
Right. And then you're like, it's shooting left.
Yeah. Low left. My sights are off.
Oh, goodness. All right. Let's do that doctor story.
All right. Okay.
Here we go.
This is something I talk about. I call it escaping the lab. And it's when you hear, like, perfect example of this, Neil deGrasse Tyson. He comes on and people ask his opinion on everything that has nothing to do with his, field of study.
Mm-hmm.
So now we have these doctors, these medical doctors that have escaped the lab, made friends with Mom Demand Action, and are setting up these, like, I don't even know what to. I feel like it's like an ambush, where when they're doing family medicine, they'll quiz the children as to whether there's guns in the home, just to like. I don't even know what it is they want, right? But it feels like it couldn't be anything good.
No, and they're proud of it. Like they're incredibly proud.
Just incredibly proud.
Yeah, incredibly proud of the work that whatever. And I did improve the frequency of firearm screening and safe storage counseling at Well Child Checks using the Be Smart framework. Check it out.
Academic PEDs.
I don't want to.
Dude, that's so weak.
Yeah, but I want.
And then she acts. It's like, dude, you're a doctor. You're meant to be a medical doctor. You're meant to tell me like what's going on with my pipes, right? You are in a descriptive field of study. You are not in a proscriptive field of study. You are not there to tell me what the ideal world is. You are there to tell me why the color is wrong, right?
Yeah.
And she's atting on Twitter, Shannon Watts. What the hell are you doing?
Yeah. Shannon Watts, guns are the leading cause of death among Colorado kids and teens, where an average of 63 children, teens die by guns every year. 59% of those deaths are suicide, and 74% of shooters under age whatever got their guns from a home, theirs or whatever.
Yeah.
Like,
so
why don't we just address like teen suicide?
Or why don't we just say, hey, not many children die anymore?
Yeah.
Because that's what this actually tells me. Like,
it's remarkable. I'm like, only 63 children in Colorado. That's amazing.
Yeah, that's great. Let's be very happy we're living in the future. And
what
like
a time to be alive. And then
kids aren't perishing of cholera and starvation.
And then for those 36 kids that don't die, so take out suicide, that's 36, 63, 4, 25, 27. 27 of those kids now, that's how many deaths we have. And I'm like that aren't suicide, so they could be accident or they could be, murder. Yeah, and I'd say the number of guns that are in Colorado, that this is a number, like this is a very small number. Like this, congratulations, Colorado. I'm so impressed.
Yeah, no, it's like there's millions of people in the state, and I don't know how many people are born every year, right? In this, but it's like, look, when people tell you, like when somebody says guns are the leading cause of death among kids and teens, I immediately think, damn, they're just not dying. Because in your life, how many, gun deaths at all do you know of, right? And you know a lot of people, probably just a handful. And then count that down to children and teenagers. I can't think of any.
No, I can't think of any, actually.
Yeah. And I mean, that might be a confirmation bias thing or whatever, maybe. But, we both know people that have taken their lives, but I don't know anyone under 18 who has done it with a firearm.
Yeah. I know people who've taken their lives, and they would have done it with a gun. They would have done it they would have done it any way that they could possibly do it.
Yep.
Guns didn't make it easier. Guns just were there.
Of course, out you people out there, of course it happens, right? It happens, and it's a huge personal tragedy to everyone nearby. But it is, we need to, when we get data, we can either, you can constantly have this glass half empty approach and just be looking at the fact that there's still numbers on the list, or you can think, wow, kids aren't dying. Like that's how you should be looking at this, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think that's how many kids. Wow, that's amazing. Good job, Colorado.
Yeah, I'm shocked that how could they be like. So here's what I'm thinking of. Well, one, is it true that it's the leading cause of death? Because I feel like it's just statistically speaking, it's probably more likely that they're dying in car accidents, right? If they die in their teenage years. So like what's going on, what's going on there, right? Is there some policy that's got the kids driving safe, or are kids just driving differently than, because when I was in high school, I had like 5 friends die on the road.
Yeah, same. Me too.
Yeah, it happened all the time, and it was just like a thing that happened.
Yeah,
totally. But no one got shot.
No, when my kids were growing up, which it hasn't been that long, and when they were in school, like I think they had friends kill themselves, but I don't know that guns were ever associated with that. Like people died in car accidents. People died when I was growing up. Dude, a block from my house, one of my friends got hit by a car on his bicycle.
Yep.
He died. Like that's the kind of stuff that happened. That's the kind of stuff that still happens. And maybe it is confirmation bias. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I know a lot of people, I hear a lot of stories, and I don't hear about this. So,
well, and like I was in the car club, and like I knew of 2 people that committed suicide by running their car into something.
Yeah.
But anyway, it is still, I don't know, the whole thing's fascinating. Everything's fascinating. Life is fascinating.
Yeah. Shannon Watts is not that fascinating.
Shannon Watts looks a little bit like a sandal.
She really does. I don't want to add.
I don't like sandals.
Yeah, I don't want to add hominem attack her, but I don't like her face.
I was like, is he gonna make me feel bad for saying she looks like a sandal? And it's like, I don't want to have an attacker, but you know what?
Well, she looks like a turtle with hair. Get out of here.
Yeah, she's like, I don't know, man. I was about to say something really gnarly, but I won't. Like, anyway,
last episode, Ben uploaded it. And he's like, okay, it's all done. And I was like, oh no, I forgot to tell you, there's like 4 F words in the first 2 minutes. And he's like, oh crap, let me pull it down and edit those out. Totally. So anyone who downloaded that on accident, it's Matt's fault.
Yeah. Yeah. I wouldn't stop.
It's not my fault. But yeah, we caught it quick.
I didn't catch it. I wanted you to hear it.
I wanted you to hear it too. Send us some emails. Go to firearmsradio.tv and tell us, is profanity okay on the show? I know historically it never was, so I just adopted the same policy. But on my other show, profanity is not just okay, it's encouraged.
Right.
And it's a different audience here. So I try to be respectful of, what came before, but let us know. Send us mail on firearmsradio.tv.
Yeah, no, definitely let us know because, we wouldn't force it, but there are times where I kind of have to bite my tongue, right? Because we speak very loosely and openly about the stuff we're talking about. And, I'm just a guy. And so sometimes I just want to start dog cussing Shannon Watts.
Same.
So.
I think the next article is about her mom. I don't know.
Is that her mom?
It
looks like her. Yeah. That's another sandal. It's a what do you call those? A Birkenstock.
Yes. This lady has hairy armpits, guaranteed.
Oh god. So yeah, this is a New York Times columnist. Genius. I'm just gonna start with that.
I'm ready.
Brilliant. All right. So listen, we got all those people that are buying guns, right? Problem. All right. Instead of talking about banning the guns and trying to claw them back, I'll do you one better. Here's what we're gonna do.
I'm ready.
When you go to buy a gun, you're gonna have to take a test.
Okay, I'm ready.
Aim test. See if the person can aim the weapon.
Oh.
Tell you what, it's gonna take care of half the problem right there.
Actually, I mean, she's got a point.
Yeah, but that's what Gail Collins is saying. But it's what I just learned about you, Gail Collins? You've never handled a gun in your life.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is what she wrote. One problem with our gun debate is, with our gun debate is that it is the wrong starting point. Let's raise the bar. Demand that nobody be able to purchase a gun without passing a test demonstrating she knows how to aim it. You'd be astonished at how many enthusiastic owners that would eliminate from contention.
You'd be astonished how many police officers that would eliminate from And this comes from a guy who trained a lot of police officers. I'm not saying anything bad about them. I'm just saying that there's a lot of people that stink with guns, both professional and civilian.
Oh my God. If you ever want to feel really, and you know what, I'm going to jump on a little bit. If you ever want to feel really good about the way you shoot, go take some cop buddies out to the range.
So I got
at least that's down here. Down here, they qualify at 10 feet. It's what you were saying.
I got to spend a year as part of an instructor cadre that was teaching military police at Fort Collins here. I forget what their battalion was, but I got to spend an entire year training cops. And I also spent several years training civilians. And I would say that I've never come closer to dying than when training police. But we left them well trained.
Yeah. No, it doesn't take much as long as you can communicate well, and the hard part is when the person you're instructing has closed ears.
Definitely.
Yeah. So I don't know how you broke through that, because a lot of times, if they're thinking I've carried this for X years and blah, 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 it's and you still can't hit the 10 ring when it's not 5 feet away.
So many concealed carry classes here that I've taught or been a part of. And it was always the dude who was like, yeah, no, I know how to do this. I just need this class to get my concealed carry permit. Mm-hmm. I was in the Army or Navy or Air Force or whatever for 10 years, 20 years, 30 years. I know how to.
So you've never fired a handgun in your life.
Right. Literally how it was. The longer they served, the more horrible they were at shooting.
They're probably pretty decent with a rifle.
Nope.
Right?
No.
Oh.
No.
I've seen that a lot. I've seen a lot of people who are like, I was in the military, and they can handle a rifle. You put a handgun in their hand, and they do that.
Yeah, and again, this is just anecdotal and based on a small, I don't know, several hundred people, 1,000 people data set. However, it was pretty bad. But you know what I don't get about what is her name, Anne, or what Collins? Yeah,
Gail Collins. She looks like an Anne.
Gail. Before
Gail Force.
I think that we should have a logic test before people are allowed to exercise their First Amendment, because then this article would have never gotten written because you're dumb.
Oh my God.
Yes. I'm sorry. I don't think we should have tests to exercise our Second Amendment rights, our naturally given right. I don't think we should have it.
Man.
I don't want tests.
Oh, well, dude, well, check it out, man. All this crap we're talking about, how it's a human right and about how it saves lives.
Yeah.
We're full of crap.
Are you kidding me right now?
Collins has dumped cold water on the stories of folks who used a firearm to save their lives.
Okay.
Here, let me quote her. The stories about how a gun saved the day aren't generally all that convincing. The Heritage Foundation recently ran a list of 11 incidents in which a gun stopped matters from getting worse. One case involved a robber who threatened employees at a pizza restaurant in Georgia. The workers won the day by grabbing another gun and catching him off guard. It was indeed good news, but the fact that the workers were able to get the gun because the holdup man decided to use the restaurant bathroom before leaving with the money was kind of a help. So it's obvious, right? Because, look, we got all these stories, and out of 11, there's a silly one.
Yeah, right. And, I guess the problem is that she didn't clearly establish what her points were at the time. But yeah, who cares? I went to the bathroom. Doesn't matter. Good guys save the day.
Right.
There's millions of cases of this.
No, yeah, and here's the big thing about defensive gun use statistics. When you have a successful defensive gun use, usually you don't fire a shot, and you also don't usually call the cops. Probably because you're scared they're going to do something you're scared that they'll say you brandished or whatever. Yeah. So people just don't report them. So even with that inherent tendency of defensive gun uses to be successful, no shots fired situations, we still have hundreds of thousands that are reported. So I think the estimates of defensive gun uses every year on the low end are 300,000, and the high end are like 3 million per year. That's a lot.
It really is. These stories just drive me nuts because then they're like, well, what, you think people should not have to have training? And I'm like, yeah, I think people should not have to have training. I think that I'm 100% okay if someone picks up a gun, buys a gun from Walmart, whatever it happens to be, walks out the door with it, and then shoots himself in the leg. Yes, I'm 100% okay with that.
Yeah.
Sometimes bad things are going to happen in that case, but I would rather choose that dangerous freedom than peaceful slavery.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's just like saltpeter, or bleach. Yeah, there are good uses for those things, and you can also be an idiot and damage yourself if you don't know what you're doing. Forklift, we don't have forklift tests before you can buy one. I mean, of course, there's the illustrious forklift certification, but you can just go buy one.
I used to be forklift certified. Actually, it was very easy to get.
I've already told you I've only ever lied about being forklift certified.
Yep, but hey, you were able to get the machinery in, so that's what matters.
Yeah, I did, and I didn't hurt anything.
Yeah,
aside from the ground a little bit.
These stories, these editorials from people like Gail. I don't know. Collins. I just I don't get it. I don't think that there should be a test to exercise right.
No, I think it's preposterous. And also there's a million reasons to buy a gun. And I think that buying a gun as a gift for somebody else is a legitimate function.
Yeah.
Right. No, that's not actually always applies before you guys.
Bona fide gift.
Yeah, exactly.
It's in there. It exists. It's a total thing. I will. Yeah. What is it you say? Minimal compliance. Anything other than minimal compliance is
self-regulation.
Self-regulation. Yeah.
People love that. People are. There is just always going to be people like Gail who are just like it's almost. And I like to be charitable, but I'm in a spicy mood today. It's fetishistic. These people want to be dominated by the government. I think that it is like a proto-sexual thing.
Ugh, weird, man.
But doesn't that? I mean, if that's, which I know is like a manic thing to say, but if that's true, doesn't that kind of explain a lot?
It does. And I was literally thinking about Gail sitting around one day, drinking her vegan kolache.
Right.
I can't even think of a hipster thing. Just drinking it, sitting on her, I don't know, wicker, no slave trade furniture, right. And suddenly slamming the non-plastic cup down with paper straw and spitting what was in her mouth out and like, oh my God, what if they had a name test? I bet people couldn't even pass it because they suck at shooting.
Yeah. Oh my God. No, that's fantastic. But you know what it is in the situation? It's like, so anyone who's read Atlas Shrugged knows it's not the highest quality erotic novel. Like really, when you break it down, it's supposed to be this great. And I've read it. I like it. There's a lot of good libertarian lessons in it. Same. But the romance part of it, right? This is like the opposite. It's the same plot, but they're just getting dominated by the government instead of this dude.
Yeah.
it's like and we know that she anyway, whatever. All right, let's move on.
I accidentally watched the Atlas Shrugged, like that series of movies on Amazon Prime. That was real bad.
Yeah. Well, I was gonna say, we know that Ayn Rand had some weird fantasies going on. I am positive that Gail has the same ones. They're just upside down.
I think you're right. 100%.
I've decided it's no longer a joke. This is now my theory. But let's end with a joke.
Okay. I watched this video a week or two ago.
Yeah. And so he made this a while ago, but it's been making the rounds again. And so this is our friend Othais McCarthy from CN Arsenal. He showed me as he was building this thing, and he pulled it out of his case. He goes, check it out. And he's dumped more than $2,000 into this Keltec. Oh, it started with him just making it as kitted out as possible to upset other gun people.
Yeah.
But it turned into he's now calling it Jeff Cooper's origami fever dream. So it folds, the gun folds over, but of course, because the barrel folds over the top, the optic gets in the way. Yep. So he's got this rail that flips over after you unfold it.
Yep.
And I mean, the idea is, because Jeff Cooper was always into, folding backpack guns. So the theory is that if Jeff Cooper didn't have this weird fixation with big calibers and would accept 9mm, that this would have been his fever dream. And yeah, everyone's just been picking up on it. The video's gained a bunch of views in the last week. But yeah, there it is. And I've shot this gun out to 100 yards.
Jeez. I have not shot this gun, and there was nothing really fever related, but this gun does give me cancer.
Yeah. You guys should check it out. And it's he says as loathed on forgotten weapons, because apparently there's this video clip of Ian McCullum just going reacting to it. But I think it's cool. I've shot the gun. I've shot his gun, and it's shockingly good. It's really shockingly, really good. I actually want one real bad. No.
I'm not a big fan of the sub 2Ks, and I did laugh when I watched the video, and I did watch the entire video, and I'm really glad that Othais has a gun that was made after, 1950, whatever.
Yeah. He's actually got a lot. Well, not more than you.
Yeah.
But I was surprised. He's got a couple modern guns. I've been trying to force feed him AKs somewhat successfully.
As far as sub 2000s go, with scout scope mounted sub 2000s go, this one, it's exceptional.
And that scout scope, when you put your face down on it, it's perfect. It
awesome.
Looks like, the eye relief's going to be weird. You literally pull it right up, and it's perfect.
Yeah, I've got a scout scope on my Mosin. It's wonderful.
Why would you tell me that?
It's so great.
Why?
I need to pull that thing out. And
Why did you do that? No.
For the same reason that Othias did this. I wanted to make him mad.
What? You didn't cut it up or anything, did you?
No, I didn't. It's easily returnable. I just popped out the rear leaf.
Yeah, and put one of those SKD mounts on it.
Brass stacker, I think, was the one.
Yeah. God, why though?
It's so great.
Why have you done this?
It's
They're not accurate.
Oh, it's a tack driver.
Is it?
Yeah, it's a tack driver.
Well, that's the thing about the Nugget. When they were brand new, they were nominally, the bore should have been 310 to 311. But when they were brand new, they could have been 308 or they could have been 316. So you must have like a tight barrel, because I've seen some of them that are tack drivers, but most of the ones I've seen are just woeful.
Yeah, we've engaged out to like 300.
Really?
Without even trying, really.
Wow.
Like just messing around. And this is like spam can ammo.
Yeah.
It's
crappy machine gun ammo.
I'm gonna bust it out again.
I do want to see it just because of, it's
ridiculous.
What's the word?
Offensive?
For something? It's like it would be like a guilty pleasure if it looked good,
It doesn't look bad. It doesn't have a good optic on it. It's got like an optic that costs as much as the Mosin. Yeah, it was like $100.
Yeah, that's what they're supposed to cost. Jesus. Have you seen what they sell for?
Yeah, I just saw one the other day. It was like $500.
Dude, I had a bunch of Mosins because when I was in high school, that's what I could afford.
Yeah,
so I would buy them. I would go to, what was it, Cabela's? I don't know what it was. One of those, and on Black Friday they'd always have, it would be like $60, and I just go buy one.
Yeah.
And then and I was like, what am I gonna, I don't really like it. This, and I like Mosins, but I, ever since I got an M39, I don't really play with a 9130.
Yeah.
And then the moment for me, it was the moment they hit $250, I just started getting rid of them. Because I was like, this gun has no business being $250 here. And then so I got rid of them, and now they're like $400 or $500.
Well, I think that Mosins are very expensive now for the same reason that I lost a bunch of money on GameStop stock. Reddit.
Yeah. Yeah. Reddit.
It was like the I don't know, rite of passage on Reddit was to have a Mosin Nagant. And so I did that. And then I bought AMC and GameStop. And, I'm just really going to stop making decisions based on Reddit, I think.
Yeah.
Let me go see what my GameStop stock is.
No, don't. You're going to make everyone sad.
Let me just look right quick. I think I'm still down. Oh no, it had a pretty good day, but I'm still losing money. It was up 6.58% today, but diamond hands, guys, diamond hands.
Diamond paws. You gotta hodl it. You gotta load it. Oh my god, that's all ridiculous.
Right. I love it. Patriot Patch Company.
Oh yeah, I just got the new one in.
I haven't gotten it yet, but any day.
Yeah, but yeah, they're really cool. They're actually, Shawn, why don't you go ahead and take a bite out of that? They're really chewy. They're that nice PVC that you guys like.
Oh, this isn't even my patch. Whoops.
Yeah, that's why I made you do it.
Just like new. Definitely no teeth marks in this patch.
Yeah. No, they don't leave teeth marks though. That's the good thing.
Actually,
because I got the Armalite, the My Little Armalite one, and I was sitting there at my desk just chewing on it. It was really it was good, and it actually looked better than the pictures. I was really impressed with it. Very clean cut lines. The sticker was gorgeous. But yeah, y'all should check them out, especially for this My Little Armalite, one, stuff like that. You're just not going to see that anywhere else. You got to go check them out. And I think, I think we can get you a discount.
I think we can. Twig 10.
Twig 10.
TWIG 10. We'll get you.
It's like a little stick, but 10 of them.
Yeah, exactly. And that's patriotpatch.co. And they actually just got Facebook pulled their Facebook page with 170,000 followers.
Why?
Because 2 years ago, he posted a picture of Zuckerberg sitting on Hitler's lap as a meme. It was a pretty hilarious meme, actually. And that was 2 years ago. And literally last week, they pulled him down. So
remember what you did.
Yeah.
You never thought you'd make it, but you did.
How could you?
Oh, my God. That's ridiculous. And so they just pulled the whole thing, gone.
Unpublished.
Wow.
Yeah.
So is there any recourse for him?
Doesn't appear so. Yeah. So go to patriotpatch.co and support Jake.
Support him.
Yeah.
Yep. Support him because I mean, like that is a pretty like. To be fair, that's like a 3rd grade level meme, but
Yeah.
you're gonna pull a business page with 170,000 likes for a 3rd grade meme.
Yep.
Like, come on, you guys got to send that guy some money because he needs the love.
Absolutely.
He's gonna be look. You know how many because you know who only uses Facebook, right?
Nazis and commies.
Well, and grand boomers.
Oh yeah.
So you got to show him support because he might have lost all that grand boomer income from the Facebook page.
Very possible. Very possible. He just needs to start a Discord, I think.
Oh, I love Discords.
Ours is not as good, but that's because I don't spend very much time there.
Yeah, no, that's why.
Yeah,
my Discord's great.
Yeah, I need to spend more time there. I have so many. I always get pulled in so many directions. It's like I just need Discord time.
I just literally, I keep it up. I have 3 monitors. I keep it up on one, and then occasionally I'll just light a small fire, and then everyone has to put it out.
Wonderful.
But yeah, and if you guys want to come in the Fudbusters Discord, you can join the Patreon.
There you go.
All right. Well, so yeah, I think that's all we have. Shawn, why don't you take the last word because I can't think of anything.
Well, I will just repeat what you always say. Thanks for listening. And don't forget that anything other than minimal compliance is self-regulation.
You don't need to regulate yourself. There's plenty of other people trying hard enough. Take care, everyone.
Bye.